In case you did not know, it is Real Money Coach time here on Facebook Live and YouTube, the Real Money Coach Show. I am your host, Tony Jackson. Listen, but I got a news for you tonight. I'm not the only Tony on the show tonight, right? There's a number of us on tonight. It's going to be the Tony show. We are going to have a great time. I'm excited, y'all. I'm really excited. I am actually coming to you from Starkville, Mississippi. Hey, Harvey Jones, good to have you. Listen, people who watch our show, no, put in the chat where you're watching from. What are you doing? Man, what city that you're watching from? But I'm down here in the Delta, down here in the South. Um, and actually, y'all, I'm having a great time teaching financial literacy actually to K through 5 grade 5. So kindergarten through grade 5, teaching them about financial literacy, teaching them about credit, teaching them about budgeting, teaching them about debt. And we even got into assets and liabilities and all these types of things. And so just very rewarding experience to talk to these children, plant a dream in their little minds of what they can be when they grow up. The different STEM careers, being a business owner, owning real estate, all this great stuff. And so, we are kind of on a tour down here. Thank you, Alice Martin, for being with us tonight. So the tour started actually in Jackson, Michigan, on Sunday. So on Sunday we were in Jackson, Michigan. We had a wonderful book launch iPad event there in Jackson at the Westin Hotel. Small crowd. We were able to space out the mask, all that kind of stuff. And so we had a great time just sharing information. And then yesterday and today, Marlon and I were in West Point, Mississippi. Teaching the financial literacy to the kids tomorrow. And on Thursday, we'll be in Macon, Mississippi, doing the same thing. So just kind of excited about it. Can't wait to get back home to my wife and my family, obviously. So yeah, but it's just great. It's rewarding. We work when you've seen these light bulbs come off, and so many kids they think not automatically about being in the NBA, or they want to be in NFL. And so we share with them the odds of you making it into the pro sports. And actually, this is the statistic: you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than actually making it into the NFL. And so just sharing those statistics, not to burst their dreams, but to say, hey, listen, if this football thing don't work out, what you gonna do? What about your education? What about, if you want to be an entrepreneur? What about some of these other things that you need to be thinking about in terms of that? So that's what we've been about the last couple of days. And actually, the press, we had a number of press come out to the financial wellness camp for the kids, radio, TV. They were all there, seeing what we were doing and being a part of it. So this little community's been great. It's been great. So, and thank you all for tuning in tonight, as we are going to be talking about something I think that's very important, something that I know as a personal brand and a personal business owner that I'm working on. And I have some of the best with us tonight, and we're going to be doing that. And also, you guys hang on, because we are literally a week and a half away from launching the iHeart Radio show that will take place on Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, where we'll be sharing financial tips and information to help you protect and dominate your money. And also to let you know, every Wednesday on Praise 100 106.9 there in Charlotte. I will be giving money tips on Melody in the Middle show on Praise 100 Radio 1. That started last week. We'll continue to do that tomorrow. And last week I gave tips about how to save money on gas. I mean, because y'all know gas is outrageous. The price of gas has gone up, and we'll do part 2 of that tomorrow on Melody's show. So we're real excited about it. But let me do this. I'm going to bring on the first Tony here of the night, and that is my son, who's been filling in for Michelle Mitchell, who's normally hosting with me. So TJ, how you doing, son?
What's going on? What's happening? How things shaking down in the SIP?
Down in the SIP. Listen,
SIP.
When I grew up, my mother, because my mother was from Vicksburg, Mississippi, my dad from Greenwood, and how they taught us to spell Mississippi was M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, humpback, I, Mississippi. That's how I learned to spell it. And so it's just kind of been good. It's just kind of been good to be in the South, to be here. I wish time would allow me to maybe go see where my dad grew up, see where my mom grew up. I haven't been down there in a number of years. And I remember coming down that when I was little, that my dad took me to the place where they had found Emmett Till, where they had drug him out of the river. I can remember that. And I remember, TJ, I was about your age, a little younger, because I was in college, and that it was a movie came out, Mississippi Burning. If anybody ever watched Mississippi Burning, put it in the chat. So this movie, Mississippi Burning, came out. And, back then we had like, what do you call it? The VCR thing, right? And so, then, we said, if I need a beard, we be twins. So I took this video home. I plug it in the VCR. I'm going to watch it with my dad, your granddaddy. And he told me to turn it off. He said, I can't take it. I lived through that. And it's so powerful. So listen. So TJ, I'm actually gonna go off screen. I'm gonna let you talk to the folks for a little while, because I just got back to my room and I see my battery's about to run out. So I got to get a cord and plug this thing up. So TJ, tell the people what you're doing, tell them what's going on, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna bring on our guests.
All right. Well, since we're talking about the South, you're leaving Mississippi and I'm coming down to Louisiana. So I'll be in New Orleans, Louisiana on Friday afternoon through Monday. Going representing the company, going to representing Procter and Gamble there for Essence Fest. So I'm gonna have some good fun and enjoy our time in the South. I need some good crawfish. I need some good old Creole cooking. You understand what I'm saying? So be on the lookout for me in the South. If you're down there, holler at me. Outside of that, everything is shaking and moving. And we have a real special guest that's about to hop on in a minute here. We're going to talk about elevating your image, right? So we know we talked a little bit about branding over the last couple of weeks. We mentioned it a couple of times, how important it is for your business, how important it is for your personal brand. We even talked a little bit, I believe it was last week, with Martin Jones. We talked about Slutty Vegan. We talked about the branding. We talked about Pinky Cole and how she got the brand running. So I think tonight will be an essential episode for teaching you or just further explaining how you can really utilize visuals to elevate your business and also to elevate your personal brand. Actually, we can go ahead and bring on Antonio. We can go ahead and bring Antonio onto the screen.
Hey. What's up? How y'all doing?
What's going on? What's going on? What's shaking?
Nothing much. Nothing much. Coming here from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Where are you at? You're in DC, right?
No, I'm actually in Ohio right now. But
You're
you're
not.
right. Yeah, I live in DC. I'm in Ohio right now. I'm going to New Orleans Friday,
Nice.
and then I come back to Ohio, and then I go to Atlanta, and then I'm sitting down for a week or two.
Okay, cool. Y'all both
So
traveling. Y'all both traveling a lot. Jeez. Okay.
yeah. Definitely. So tell us a little bit about I guess your experience in imaging, right? I mean, that's kind of like a broad category.
Yeah.
So you have pictures, you have videos, you have graphics. So as it relates to visuals, what is your experience, and then also what are some of those key things that you think translate across all of these different sectors? You know, graphics, videos, photos, etc.
Yeah, I'd say I don't know. My starting off with like me, I'm a big film person, so I do a lot of like video work for film, short films, feature length films,
Okay.
and I've used my passion to now like kind of start a company called Texture House where I work with people like your dad, my uncle. I don't know if people know that, you know, Tony Jackson is my uncle,
Yeah,
but he
this is my
he
god
is
brother right
this is
here,
yeah
y'all.
this is
This is my
yeah
god brother right
yeah.
here.
But I work with people like Tony Jackson to develop their kind of the image that they're kind of creating with on their team and putting it into a visual audio visual format. So I do a lot of video work, I do a lot of audio work, so work for radio, work for uh Instagram reels and website banners, anything you can really think of. If it has audio and it has video, I have done it. And I've kind of used my past of passion for film of using more cinematic looks and pacing and writing to help develop people's vision and expanding their um, kind of their perspective that they're trying to put out. I think the biggest thing that I've learned through working with people is that a lot of the people, even like your dad, my goddad, uh, is they have a great message, and sometimes you need the visuals to match the level of their message, and there can be a lot of disconnect when the visuals or the audio is not at the same caliber of the content, like mentally or spiritually that people are putting out there. So my job and my skill is matching that visual perspective and vision with the content that people are kind of making.
Okay. So if you have someone that's on right now that's listening in, and they have a wonderful idea, they have a wonderful concept, they have a great unique value proposition, and all of these things, and they're like, I know I have something good here.
Mm-hmm.
How do I begin to make this visual? Where can they start? Where do you think is the starting point for them?
I think the number one is like we all have cell phones, right? So using your phone, like using the tools that you have on you, and I think sometimes we think that it's not enough, and I think more. And I find myself falling into this boat too with other aspects of things I do, where I don't put anything out because I don't think it's at the caliber of what I want. But sometimes just putting it out there and making it, that's how you learn, and that's how you start those railroad tracks to getting to where you're trying to get. You make a lot of mistakes and you make a lot of decisions where you are figuring out your process, for you, and then that's at the point where you're trying to elevate what you've already been doing, I can use my mom, Michelle Mitchell, as a great example of this. She was making a lot of her content, on her own with just her laptop and her phone. And then at some point, she wanted to elevate the visuals that she was already making, and that's where, she's lucky I was around. She always had me, so I could help her, guide her with like, oh, think about your lighting, think about, the type of microphone that you're using, think about the room that you're in. If it's really noisy, then maybe that's not the right room for you to record your radio spot or even do your video in. Or if your room is really dark, as you can tell in here, I have a lot of different light sources in this room that kind of make the visuals look more, make them pop a little bit more. And it's those little things that go a really far way. But at the core of it is just start doing something, and then you can figure out how to elevate that in the future. But you don't know what you need to elevate or what you need to work on until you do it. And that's something that we can all understand, whether you're, a doing financial literacy, doing visual work, a musician, or a public speaker. Like there's always these things that once you start it, then you figure out what the things that you need to do to change.
Definitely.
I'm just enjoying this conversation because I've been back for a few minutes because one of the things, one of the lessons that you need to learn in the audio visual thing is have your cord handy for your machine. So when the battery, that's important. But Antonio, I love what I'm hearing you say, and as I was looking at some of the people who are watching, people who have nonprofits, we have people who are in financial services. Obviously, your mom is here watching tonight.
Hey, godmama.
And so yeah, we got all this back and forth, right? We're deeply connected. But you said something about just starting with your phone.
Yeah.
And it seems to me as though video is become kind of the way to go. And if I were to have my phone, there's Lisa said, hello, son and godson, proud of you both, right? What about me, babe? What happened there? Right? But if you were putting out reels or you're putting out things like that, what length of time? I mean, what's ideal, in terms of catching people's attention, they're, keeping their attention. So give us some ideas, because if I'm sitting here and I record the selfie with my phone, how long should that be if I'm posting it to social media? Or even let's talk a little bit about, YouTube, even starting a YouTube channel. What advice would you give someone in those areas?
So you gave me two really,
I gave you a lot.
A lot. There's a lot going on there. So you got to think about the medium that you're using. So first, so if you're using YouTube, that's a very different thing than using Instagram or TikTok, where Instagram and TikTok and even Facebook is a kind of its own thing too. But let's bunch Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok all in one, where a lot of the content that you're putting on those platforms, you want them to be under 90 seconds. You really want them to be under a minute long, because if you've watched a TikTok or a reel, they're very quick things. So you're trying to get your information out very fast. You want it to look as good as you can. And it's really about the content. It could be just you talking to the camera. But if you can keep it short and simple, that you'll have people coming back. And even something that that I've worked with my mom with is like, and a lot of my other clients that I work with is, let's say even you, Uncle Tony, like you will record something that's 10 minutes long, right? And then you send it to me and I'll shorten that 10 minutes down into, you know, 1 or 3 different videos that are worth
Right.
that you can put online. You know,
Right.
you can have your whole spiel that you normally do, whether you're doing whatever you do. And it's choosing how do I send my message in a, you know, chapter form? How do I break this video up into shorter content that I can spread across, you know, a few days or a month or a quarter or even the year? Like, so, you know, I've worked with clients that give me about 3 hours worth of content, and, you know, I break that up into, you know, almost a year's worth of content that they can use and manipulate however they want. And it's your vision of what you think people really need in those short amounts of time. For YouTube, and a different aspect, those videos are a little bit different. So you have your kind of your initial video where you're going to catch people with, and that's going to be about between 1 and 3 minutes, you know. And you probably want a few different of those videos that are between 1 and 3 minutes. And then once you've gotten those people to subscribe to your channel, or to your channel, you want videos that are between 8 and 10 minutes long, maybe 12, but I would say between 8 and 10 minutes is the comfortable way to do it, because what you're going to get with that is that's at between 8 and 10 minutes. That's when YouTube starts monetizing videos, and that's where they want people to, that's where you start seeing commercials and stuff around that 5-minute mark, and they keep you going. That they're going to, once you're subscribed, those longer videos are what are going to be pushed to your audience that's subscribed to you. The shorter videos are what is going to be pushed to people who are not subscribed to you. And, you know, this stuff is always changing. It's always going to be developing. So don't take it all like the algorithm is always changing. But
constantly evolving.
Right now, these are the things that work. And if you can format your idea into a minute long, 3 minutes long, 8 minutes long, those are like, that's a really good spectrum to work in.
And I know we broke all kinds of these rules, right?
Yeah.
Because you took my book launch, which was almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And you broke it down to a very powerful 30-minute YouTube video. And if you guys have not seen that, and you want to see some of Antonio's work, go to ipadyourmoney.com, and right there on the first landing page is a recap video of the book launch that Tony actually sliced down and made this recap that I'm so proud of. And I'll tell you, sometimes I just watch it. I watched it the other day. Really,
motivational purposes.
Right though. Yeah, no, it's real.
Absolutely. And so let me do this. I want to do this too. I mean, I don't know if he's prepared, but the other we have another gentleman that's with us, that's streaming with us each week, and that's Dante Robinson. I don't know if Dante's in a position to come on, but as I was talking about the book launch, he did the streaming of the book launch. And what I want to kind of really talk about is, for me, there he is. Dante, how you doing?
Doing good. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Dante, just real quick, tell everyone a little bit about you, and then I want to get into this this conversation of how it takes a team of people to create an image, right? Whether that image is online, branding. TJ, you're in an MBA program. Dante, you're doing streaming. Tony, you're doing video and audio. You know, we got graphic design people. You know, Antonio hooked me up with someone that does graphic design for me now. And so we have all these things that are that I think have to come together to create and elevate that image online. And I'm an old head at this thing, right? So, you know, I love you guys Y'all see what I'm doing. You see what I'm surrounding myself with, right? I'm
Mhm.
surrounding myself with 2-year-olds that know
Young
this stuff.
whippersnappers.
That can help take things to another level. And my prayer is that then their businesses and what they do go to another level too. And so, Dante, just tell us a
Let
few
me
minutes about what you do, and then let's have a conversation about that.
real quick before
um,
Dante hops
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Let me preface your introduction with this. Some of y'all can't be successful because you're too cheap. Because you're too cheap. Y'all don't want to pay
You're
the money
right.
to get. You don't want to pay the money to get a team. You don't want to put people on the payroll, and it's affecting your ability to scale your business.
Talk
Yeah.
about it. Talk about
You
it.
understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
why people, I hear people, oh my goodness, I got into real estate and I had tenants, I couldn't deal with it. That's because you were dealing with it. You
Yeah.
ain't get you a property manager. I don't want to deal with nobody calling my phone 24/7. I don't want to hear about any leaky faucet. That's just me personally. I don't want to, don't call me, don't text me. I don't even want you to have my phone number.
Preach, brother. Preach.
You know what I'm saying? And but the thing is, you have to create the infrastructure for you to be able to scale your business, right?
Mhm.
Whatever you're doing, do it times 10, do it times 100, times 1,000. To do that, you have to have a team, and you can't be afraid of opportunity costs, right? Because it seems a lot up front, but then once you scale it and you stretch it out, you realize that you're in a better position. So I
Mhm.
just had to preface
Well,
Dante's statement with that right there.
let me jump on that too before Dante does introduce himself. And it's not, you got to look at it as not as a cost, but as an investment in your business.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
and and we understand sometimes people don't have it, but sometimes you got to go out and hire people that can get this stuff done and do it in a great way. And you're right that sometimes what happens is business owners, we become the bottleneck, right? We become the bottleneck because
Mm-hmm.
we're not willing to uh, outsource those things and get people who are expert in those areas to do that. I know a lot of people that use this platform that we're using tonight called StreamYard, and they run their own show. I don't want to run my own show. I don't want to try to have to talk to y'all, talk to the guests, and be flipping us on and off the screen and doing all that. And so I know a lot of people that do it themselves, and hats off to them. I mean, if that's what works for you, but for me, that's not gonna work. I need to offload some more stuff. You heard me? So go ahead, Dante. Come
Man.
on.
Hey, I feel it, man. I feel it. Hey, and that's why people like me were generating jobs like over this like whole like pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So like me personally, I'm like, all right. Just give myself an introduction, right? Come get myself straight. All right. So my name is Dante Robinson. You know what I'm saying? I do pretty much IT for a living. Went to school for in Full Sail University for music business management, but life happens, and you keep on pressing. But it's funny because I actually used information that I learned in music business management in IT and throughout life, because it's business is business either way you go. It don't matter what you put the prefix of it. It's business is business. Contracts, everything is all the same. But I fell in love with the IT thing because I realized that in Full Sail they gave us this whole Adobe package, but they never like let us use it. In music business manager, they never like taught us like anything to do with it. They just gave us this big old Adobe package, and they didn't let us do nothing. So I started messing with it, and I was like, okay, well, I can start editing some stuff, moving things around. Then I think I had an uncle who worked at a nursing home, and he gave me some video content. Said, hey man, I'm looking to do like a just mess around with this in this video and just like add some different flair to it, stuff like that. So I just added some dancing people into it, different things to like flare it up a little bit. So um my fault. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I just add a little flair to the content.
Well, and I'll tell you how I ran across Dante is his aunts, right? Am I correct? Your aunts? Is it your aunts? Your
Well,
grandma?
my grandmother is one of the four sisters.
The
One of
four
the four
sisters.
sisters.
They had me come on their show, and Dante was doing some things that I really liked, the gifts, right? And
Right.
all that. I was like, man, that just adds another flair to the show. I like that a lot. And so, I talked to him and said, man, I want to hire you to kind of come on and do some of those things with us so that we're just not like a box, right? So that we have some different things coming in. And I think that's, to your point too, TJ, is getting, I like you guys because you're creatives, right?
Mhm.
And now y'all creatives, y'all can be a little different too. Damn, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Y'all creatives can be a little different, but I love the flair. And Tony, I love the things that you do. Matter of fact, as I was down here in Mississippi, I was a few back in the fall. I was with Eric Thomas as part of his team, and we were at a Legal Shield convention. And I remember one of the things he told me when we were riding over, he said, always bring your own camera people. He said, they always tell you they have someone, they always tell you they have the audio people. Bring your own people, because you can't depend on that group that's hosting you, that they will have those things. And as I was down here doing this event, I was like, and so I did this whole seminar on Sunday, and it was bomb, man. It was, I mean, I was delivering content, right? I mean, I was in my flow, and I have no video of it. You have no
Oh
video
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
And I
Oh
was saying,
man.
if I had my own video person, I could have gotten content that could then be used to promote the next event and those type of things. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. So,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, I think you're right. You do have to make some investments, and whether you're talking about small or large, and I think social media. And I'll ask you guys this: how do you feel like social media can impact and help someone elevate their business?
I think it's the bridge, right? For people who don't know anything about you. So it's the way for people to see the house, the billboard, and then be invited into the door of what the actual content that you make. That's why I think it's really important to have those impactful messages from the start in those short videos, because that's just the start of what you're trying to say, right? That's not the full content. That's not tuning into this radio show or your radio show, or seeing this stream. Um, it's the way for people to be introduced to you. It's your elevator pitch.
Pitch.
Yeah, I would say that's what social media is for. Social media is a portfolio for who you are, what you represent, and what you're trying to say.
It's powerful. I mean, social media is a marketing tool.
Yeah.
And it's a marketing tool in different ways. There are now companies that are killing it by being basically middlemen between social media influencers and big corporations.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's literally happening. Yeah, I ain't gonna throw no companies under the bus. You know what I'm saying? That's like that. But it's major companies out here that are using these services so that they can market their brands on social media indirectly.
Yeah.
So I think that it's there's so many different things to it, because you can create a business on social media just by being yourself, right? And then additionally, you can build a brand on social media, both a personal brand and a business brand. It just like Antonio said, it's that bridge between people that have no idea who you are and introducing them to you. And then also, once they're a part of the family, sharing your story, right? I keep referring back to Pinky Cole, who's the CEO and founder of Slutty Vegan.
Slutty
But
Vegan, yeah.
people literally became so drawn to her story, not just the food, her story. That's why she blew up, because she was able to draw following, and they loved her story, and she was fully transparent throughout her whole journey.
Mhm.
And so I think sometimes we hesitate to put things on social media because social media is supposed to be the highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
Social media is supposed to be
That-
you outside parked outside a rental. You don't even drive a BMW. You ain't paid for premium gas but one time in your life.
Hey, yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even do that. Don't even do that. You all out,
Yeah,
That is
it's
a-
a lot,
that
it's
is-
a lot of cappers out here. It's definitely a lot of cappers out here. Definitely a lot of cappers.
Yeah. They capping big
You
time.
know,
So,
you
so,
definitely,
so
you know.
here's the thing too that I was thinking about as you were saying that, Tony, in response to what Antonio said, and I thought about you, Dante, is that really what you have now is you have people that, you know, in the old band management, all this, you have your AR people, right? And really you have people that are kind of performing that same function, but between the corporation and the social media influencer and those type of things. And
Right.
how do I get in with these social media influencers, or how do I become an influencer? How do I create that type of following that then allows you to, in many cases, monetize that or advance your brand,
Mhm.
you know, across. I mean, there's no boundaries, right? When we're talking
Yeah, it's no
internet,
boundaries.
right? There's no boundaries. I'm not limited to North Carolina. I'm not limited to, you know, I mean, right now, all three of us are in or four of us are in 4 different states.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it kind of becomes that equalizer that allow us to extend our brand beyond our
Beyond the
immediate.
United States.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Globally.
I think that's the beauty of the internet, right? You know, that's the digital age that we're in. Like, the business model really has not changed from the 80s to now. It's just that now what, you know, the A&R firms or the middleman, what they did with, like, you know, I work in the music industry, so what the record labels were doing for the artists, you know, that didn't change. You know, they're still giving your content to the masses. They're
Mhm.
still the funnel to get to a lot of other people. But kind of where we're in now is now we have the ability to start that following ourselves, and
Independently.
then independently, you know. And you know, I think of Kid Cudi. I don't know if you know Kid Cudi, but like,
Mhm.
Kid Cudi is a really good
Mhm.
example of that, of starting his own following on his own, being an independent artist, and then branching off. And then when he was at the level where, you know, he has 1 million plays, 1 million followers, now how do I get to that next level? That's where you start needing that investment, that financial help, and you can take that to a business perspective as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
This is
Dang,
a completely different side note, another conversation, but now also Web3 and this whole blockchain and decentralized world is creating opportunities for artists to reach, you know, audiences and not pay the upfront costs or deal with a record company directly, like within the next 10, 20 years, probably more 10, you know, artists will need record labels like they once did. And I will say a big part of that push is through social media.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's going to happen, I think the role of the record label is going to change to be more of a what, NFT? I always get it mixed up.
Yeah, NFT. Yeah, I mean,
NFT.
a record label can't be an NFT, but
Right, regular label can't be in.
Well, what I'm saying
but
is,
yeah,
they're going to be
like
but there'll be agencies where they can now. I mean, they could be the ones that help those artists create those and those type of things, because there's going to be a market for it, because everybody doesn't know how to do that, and there's agencies out there now that will help you, you know, get your non-fungible token out there. And so it's probably going to evolve into something different than what we know it today. And if they don't evolve with it, of course they'll go they'll be extinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Definitely.
So here,
you're a
Michelle said
musician right now.
this is an
Hey.
awesome panel. This is an awesome panel. And I open this up to anyone who's watching. If you have a question that you would like to ask these three young men as we're talking about using video, we've kind of talked about social media. We've talked about audio. We talked about streaming. Maybe there's some more things that you can share with us about streaming, Dante. We're talking about these things. And if you have questions that you'd like to ask, put those questions in the chat box so that we can ask these three guys while we have them here. Because I do think this is a powerful moment, right?
Hey, TJ was saying something. I think I resonated when he was talking about the companies are under like they slightly using these social media like posts, you know what I'm saying, as marketing tools. Because I actually recently ran into a scenario with a friend who, like, I was just on Instagram and I just saw something for a local. It was something locally in my event, but she's in Texas, so it was like something local in my town that was going on in DC, and I was like, that looked like you. Like, it looked like, is this? I had to send it to her. Was like, yo, is this you? And she was like, yeah, that's me. Like, I'm like, yo, you know they using your thing for, like, you know, to promote this whole experience. Like, they got your whole TikTok over here. Like, yeah. She was like, I didn't even know. I'm like, yo, you need to get to something. Like, it's like this thing got 100,000 likes. Like, what's up? Like, you know, like.
Right.
So, like, yeah,
like
they actually,
her image and her likeness.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so, like, and I'm realizing now that they actually have contract. Like, when you go to those type of events, they have like contracts you sign and waivers you sign. So, like, in those things, and it's worded in there that, you know, they might use your content, anything that you use under the hashtag and stuff like that might be used as like marketing tool, but people don't even know that. So they find themselves like just she didn't even know, but you find yourself, you know, scrolling through Instagram, and now you up there underneath of the inexperience of a lifetime, you know what I'm saying, or the necklace jewelers of America, like, you just because you didn't put hashtag, you know,
right,
you know,
neck all on Instagram,
right, you neck all on Instagram,
girl. Got your neck all on Instagram.
Well, you know,
I need to work out. You know what I'm saying? Right. Somebody put my ass on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? What a contract. I'll sign right now.
Like this, because someone mentioned it, and actually I was having this conversation with my wife the other day, and we were talking about, I think it was her. I think we talked about it, and I talked about it with Marlon. Is the NIL, name, image, and likeness, that now allows amateur athletes to get paid for people using their name, image, and likeness. And I'm looking at some of these cats, right? And they are high schoolers with 1 million followers, you know, and they can go to a school and sign an NIL contract now, right? Name, image, and likeness. And they can be making hundreds of thousands of dollars as a student just by
they are
showing up.
They are 100% making it. Yeah.
No,
they're
doing
it.
100%.
Have you seen Jackson State? Man,
have you seen the past few drafts, the past few NBA and NFL? Them boys coming in there like looking like they already got the money.
I'm not gonna lie to you. On the Jackson State page, there might have been Deion Sanders' page. It was like they make them matter, and they had everybody just dripped out in all type of designer. You know what I'm saying? At the football wars, I'm like, yeah, they're getting those contracts.
Oh yeah,
right. But I mean, they deserve it though.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
can you be mad?
I think college athletes has been really a plantation for a number of years, right? Because these players, they sacrifice their bodies. The stands are full of people, and they get their tuition paid, but they're not really getting anything more than that. If they get anything more than that, then now, you know, they're, you know, not eligible because they broke the rules. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I was just at Jackson State on Sunday. Somebody need to do an NIL, because, you know, most of our HBCUs, if you go to the campuses, and theirs weren't bad, but, you know, they need upgrades, right? They need upgrades bad. And
the upgrades are coming.
He said upgrades are coming.
Oh yeah.
I know some things about Jackson State. The upgrade's coming.
Well, because Diddy just gave them $1 million, right? So
And
the other
Howard.
night on the BET Awards,
And Howard.
he gave Howard $1 million.
Yeah, I'm
and
just
he
throw that out
gave
there.
Jackson State $1 million. And so, so yeah,
making it rain up in there, boy. Just making it just making it rain.
So now let's do a quick round robin. So we're approaching about 12 minutes left. You guys have shared a lot of great information. So what I'd like to do is just kind of do a round robin. I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. You guys can kind of tell me. It's really just one question. Like, if you were talking to someone who may be watching this broadcast and they have a business, and for number one, you need to advertise. I mean, if you don't put some money behind marketing, I don't know any business that doesn't put some money behind some marketing. Yeah. And, much of that has to do with the things that we're talking about tonight. So if you were to give a business owner advice, let's just call that business owner 50-something. They're 50-some years old. They have a business. They know they need to do some marketing. What would be step one that you would say for them to complete? What's step one?
You want to go first, Tony?
Go ahead. Who's going first?
I can go first.
Which
which one of us? I'd say figure out your identity. Like, who are you? What do you want? What do you represent? What's your message? How can you be? I guess it depends. If you're a product, this is a little bit easier because you're selling something. But if you're an individual who wants to be the face of the business, like, how can you be the most transparent version of yourself for people, and how do you say your message? That's what people are gonna attach onto, is who you are, not the thing that you're selling, but who you are. They're coming to you for a service, but they're staying with you for you. They're staying with you for you. And I would say that's the biggest thing. That's where I'm at. I'm a content creator. I create stuff every day. I create content for other people all the time. But right now, where I'm at in my development for marketing is, how do I identify with my audience? How do I find the people who are attracted to who I am and what I do, and have the same morals and the same values? And kind of, if you've had a business for a while, what is the people who stick with you are the people who end up becoming your friends, business friends, or even friends down the line. All the people I work with on a daily basis, especially because I do film stuff, I'm always on set with them for hours. So I've become almost best friends with some of these people. And those are the people you want to attract into your corner and who you want to work with for the rest of your life. Right. So that would be my biggest advice.
Man, that's so wise, man. You must have an awesome godfather and father. There was some wisdom.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned. That's a really good example, like really good statement. I mean, I have a lot of, just like you, Uncle Tony, like you have a lot of good people in your corner who help you be the person that you are and help you hold the vision that you have. Right. Absolutely. I have a lot of people. I'm 27 years old, and I've come so far, even in the past 3 years since I started my company, because I've had people like you and my mom and my family in my corner giving me wisdom and giving me advice along the way, where I am probably 10 years ahead of where I could be at this age.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's but I think it also that people have to be receptive to that. Yeah. Because not everybody likes to hear. And the fact is that we give a lot of advice. You got to figure out, what makes sense for you. Mm-hmm. But I think what you said was so powerful is that people need to know who you are. and you need to be able to be authentic and open in ways so that people really know and can feel your heart,
Yeah.
as long as it's sincere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, especially in what I do in terms of financial services and working with people and their money, I always tell them to pray about it. I mean, because if you're going to, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or trust hundreds of thousands of dollars on the advice that I'm giving you, then you need to feel good about who I am as a person, and you need to feel good about, the education that I give you so that you can make those decisions. And so I think these type of formats allow people to get to know us and who we are.
Yeah.
That transparency that you talked about, I think, is so important. So that's good.
Yeah.
Dante, let's roll over to you. What you think? What advice? I mean, you're doing streaming. You did a wonderful job with the book launch. I know there's other things you do, but if someone wanted to, let's just say they wanted to start a platform, a live platform or something, what would be the first step?
So I recently had a conversation with somebody, and like the one thing that bugged me, because I've had this conversation with a lot of different people who want to start streams, is that they say like, I want to start a stream, but I don't know what I want to talk about. Like, I don't know like what I want to talk about. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's common to know, that's common a lot of times. But when you like when you have this idea, I think a lot of people think it's just like, you can just come on there and just start a conversation. It's a lot of people can, depending on the vibe, depending on the energy, you can just come on and just vibe and have a conversation. But it's a lot of times you want to have a topic, you want to have something that you want to stick to in that topic. Like today's episode is about video and content, and most of the stuff that we've been talking about today is about video and content. So like blurting a lot of different things out to different people is going to throw them off from from viewing you a lot of times, because you can't over information people. A lot of times over information is going to draw your crowd down. So usually if people come to me telling me I want to start a stream or anything like that, I point them to StreamYard. I point them to a couple of different ways, because like you said, Tony Mitchell, first, we all got this device we walk around with every day, this phone that we have. Like, we can literally go stream. I have people that do Twitch, friends that do Twitch for stream from their phones, from their iPhones, plat it up, put it on the platform and stuff like that, put it into a system, put the green screen over. Like, it's different ways that people are editing and people are making content more visually appeasing, because just the basic stuff now is not catching the eye. And if you want to catch an eye, you got to make something unique, something stick out. So my biggest thing I tell people is like, all right, so you come into this idea, you want to talk, you want to have this thing, but what do you want to do that's going to make you stick out? So like, look for that niche, and you'll be all right in this new tech and streaming world, because it's getting to the point, honestly, where it's not saturated, but you're going to start seeing streaming stuff like on TV, like as far as channels and stuff like that. It's going to start melting over into that pot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have platforms like Twitch that are multi-billion-dollar companies now at this point. And really, within the past 3 years,
and you didn't hear of them 4 years ago.
Exactly.
Years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, people want to, me as someone, I love YouTube. Like, my favorite platform now is YouTube, out of Netflix, out of all the other platforms, because what you get is a very niche audience of people talking to you about exactly what you want. And that's what people want. That's what we want, is to be connected with people who have the same ideas as us, have the same passions as us, and love the same way that we do. Love the things that we love the same way, and that's
where you waste time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we want to get to the source, right? Like,
yeah. I'm a big get. Okay, what does it have to do with me, person? Like, get to the point, person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I operate. Like, people sometimes at work, they invite me into meetings and they say, "Hey, we just want you to join." Why do you want me to join? Because I got stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to get.
I got plenty to do. I got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not coming on to just kick it with y'all. And I agree with you, Antonio. YouTube is my go-to. First thing I do in the morning when I roll over is go to Eric Thomas on YouTube and I need motivation to get me out of
Yup.
bed. You know what I'm
Yup.
saying?
Hey,
Yup.
A lot of times I don't have that much sleep. I need that to get me going, and then I listen to it as I'm doing my morning routine. But I would say
Same.
for me,
Well, let me ask
Um,
Dante, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, go ahead, T.
okay. Okay, 27, 28, 25, and unknown.
Unknown.
No, I know I ain't gonna put you out there. But I would say in terms of like if you're starting, if you're getting started, and you know you want to put yourself in a good position, you have to first ask yourself the question: why would somebody listen to or watch you? Like, you know, I just keep it real. One of my boys hit me up probably like a couple months ago. He's like, man, I'm doing this podcast, man. It's gonna be a great conversation. I'm feeling good. You know what I mean, man? I'm about to do this podcast thing. He said, man, season two, podcast season 2. I said, how many listeners did you have on season 1?
On season 1.
How many viewers? How many listeners? How many of those listeners do you not know personally? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody want to listen to you, bro. You keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating on you, but that does not know you personally is logging on to your content, and that's a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem you can't fix, but if the only 5 people that's liking your Instagram, Facebook post are your family members, that's a problem. So you have to expand your mindset to say, okay, why would someone that does not know me, someone that has no clue who I am, someone that has never seen me before in their life, click this content and follow me, subscribe to this channel? Why would somebody who doesn't know me at all, you know, why would they do that? And so thinking from that standpoint is important, especially when you first getting started, because the goal of social media is to expand your audience, right? Yes, you want to maintain your audience, but you need to expand your audience. And if your content is not doing that, you're doing something wrong. And I always say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So you need to get more than 12 likes out there. You need to get more than 12 likes.
Hey.
Well, listen, I just want to y'all, if y'all are watching this, take a screenshot of what you have on the screen right here. I mean, we have, and you can hear everything about the news, about black males, millennials, all this stuff. But look, we got a 25, 27, 28-year-old young men on this screen that are doing great things with their life. And you know, I'm a little bit older than some of y'all. Right?
Had to change my name. I want to fit in here. Don Tonio.
Hey, all you got to do is take that.
Tonio.
Dante, just take that Don off the front and just go with the Tonio right on the back.
Yeah. Just throw Tonio at the end of it. You know, now become a Tonio.
That's pretty much all my family calls me is Tonio. So
So the average age tonight is 33 years old. And I ain't gonna say how I'm bringing that average up, but the fact is, I think this is a powerful moment. This is a powerful moment because, I mean, obviously, you know, I've known Antonio ever since he was born, right? I remember holding that little pale baby, right? I've known him ever since.
Why do people keep making that comment, like, about how pale I
was? You know, and the afro, and then obviously Tony, and then Dante. You know, we've been working together now for I guess it's been, you know, it's probably getting close to 6 months, right?
Yeah, close to 6 months.
And so, you know, I'm just awfully proud of you guys, and I pray that in some way that I could have an influence on your life and your business and what you're doing, because this is what it's all about. Look, Harvey says I'm a 70-year-old on trying to learn, and And that's what I love about the Real Money Coach. Cheryl said I'm older than all four of y'all. Yeah. And so, it is about just sharing information. The Real Money Coach is about entrepreneurship. Our four main areas: real estate, proper management, financial literacy, business development, and proper investment insurance. And so to have the four of you on, we're talking about business development. You guys are all, in your 20s. And I just think this is a powerful moment. And I'm screenshotting it, right? Because this is what needs to be on the news. Because so often we hit the negative, right? We hear the negative about particularly Black males, right? Particularly millennial Black males. But you guys are examples of what's right in our race. You're examples of what's right in Black America today. And I'm just so proud of all three of you. And I'm just praying just the best for your careers. And plus, two of y'all named Tony. I'm gonna need somebody to take care of me. I'm gonna need somebody.
Rub that big game, rub that big game on your knees. Rub that big game.
So I just I'm just awfully proud of this moment,
I tell you.
and how it all came together. And it's so amazing. Michelle and I talk about this all the time. Is how we put these shows together, and I purposely don't do. Well, I ain't gonna say purposely, but a lot of times we don't do much planning, because I believe in that we have to let God lead us and let the Spirit lead us into the questions that we want. I mean, I don't want to come in with a preconceived. I want to just find where the Spirit is going and ride that out on these shows. And that's what happens. And every time they turn out great. Every time they turn out great.
You're almost a jazz musician with words.
I like that.
Just improvising.
Improvising.
Yeah.
Improvising. So
that's art. That's called art right there. That's
so I'm a creative too, right?
Yeah.
So
we're all creatives.
Yeah.
That's why we work well together, because we're all creatives. You can see where we're coming from.
Right. And the thing about it is we all have our own lanes, and when you can do that, your sax player can't put the sax down and go play the drums.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they could, but that may not be the way. That may not come out so well, right? So, and that's what I like is when people know their niche, they know their craft, and you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
Now you can't come up in
here
and putting out mediocre work. You got to put out an awesome product. Antonio, you put out also awesome product. Tony, you're doing great. You put out an awesome product. Dante, you put out an awesome product. And I want to surround myself with people.
My green screen just failed, but it's all good though. It's all good.
Yeah. So that's what it's all about. So any last words from any of y'all before we take it on out?
I'm gonna just thank Tony and for all the opportunities, ever since I've we've linked up, man. Nothing but change and progress, and nothing but prosperity has been happening in my life. So I appreciate you, for just being you.
Thank you.
And I say thank you for having me on and letting us kind of talk about this for the past hour. Hope to be on again. Maybe we'll have a different topic. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And thanks for the advice. I started listening a couple years ago.
Yeah, right. That was me.
All the life advice. That was life advice. I started listening a couple years ago. I started listening.
I was just I was cataloging it. I was putting in my file cabinet, and then about a few years ago, I went back. I had to cipher through a few things. I was like, "This was good. Right. This is real good. Right, man, I'm gonna take this."
Well, Dante, take us on out, y'all. Thank you for being here for another episode of the Real Money Coach. I'm coming to you live from Starkville, Mississippi. And we got Dante, who's in the DMV, Tony, who's in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Tony, who is in Cincinnati, Ohio. We thank you for being part of the show tonight, and spread the word. We're here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. God bless y'all. Have a good night.